Hello, everyone. Welcome. It's 11:01. Thank you very much for joining us for this webinar. I can see in the waiting room that not everyone is yet connected to this very nice session about digitizing replenishment. So I can suggest that we can wait 3 more minutes for people to join us, and we will start soon. Thank you. I can see that people are joining, so maybe we can wait for 1 minute more and we will start. All right, people are joining more and more, so I think that almost everyone has been connected now, so maybe we can start. So hello everyone and welcome. Thank you very much for joining us today for this webinar on digitizing B2B replenishment for efficiency and growth. We are excited to have you with us as we explore how digital transformation is reshaping the way businesses manage their supply chains and replenishment processes. Today, we'll discuss the key trends driving change, real-world examples also from leading brands, and how new technologies like AI and automation can unlock greater efficiency, reduce cost, and support sustainable growth for your business. I am Arnaud Rian, founder and CEO of Just, and to help me today to present all of this content and share deeper insight, I'm pleased to be joined today by Aurélien Second, who brings a strong expertise and experience in digital transformation and supply chain. Maybe Aurélien, perhaps you can introduce yourself.
Absolutely. Thanks, Arnaud. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. I'm Aurélien Second, CEO of E2I. I bring over 20 years of expertise, in commerce and marketplace, having collaborated with a variety of B2B and B2C companies throughout Europe to craft and implement scalable commerce and marketplace solutions. My experience spans both from technical and strategic dimension of digital transformation, and I have had the privilege to lead teams through highly impactful projects throughout Europe. Thank you, Arnaud. Let's dive in.
Very quick introduction about our companies. So quickly, at Just, we are a software company based in Paris, focused on building B2B platforms to modernize and accelerate the commerce transformation for B2B organization. And maybe Aurélien, sorry, you can also explain a little bit more about E2I and what you do.
Absolutely. Thanks, Arnaud. So E2I, we are a consultancy created in 2014, focused really on helping businesses to thrive in the digital commerce and marketplace transformation. We blend strategy, technology, and execution to achieve meaningful results. We have a bit more than 50 people, really experts on that domain area. We've done more than 25 successful go live. All our clients are happy clients, happy customers. And we are, as we described it earlier, we really focus on e-commerce and marketplace implementation, bringing the B2B, the B2C, and many more models, as well as delivering front-end implementation for these projects.
Thank you, Aurélien. So the agenda for today, we will answer three key questions. The first one is why companies need to digitize their replenishment process. The second one would be what the results and impact they can expect from this digitalization. And the third one, what are the challenges that they can face in that kind of project. Let's start with the first topic, and maybe Aurélien, you can give us your point of view about why digitizing the replenishment process is important for companies.
No, absolutely. And I think to understand it better, we need to understand the pain they encounter on a daily basis. I think this is the element for us to understand the why, so we can comprehend and respond to it. So mainly, I would say one of the elements, the hidden cost of manual processes. We see a lot of errors, time, approvals, lack of visibility and responsiveness across the supply chain. We're going to drill down a bit down to this element. Stock out and miss sales opportunities, very important. So what we need to understand as well is the lack of flexibility for diverse franchise needs. We understand that traditional systems are built for centralized organization with uniform needs. But when you look at franchises network, they vary by location, their market, their maturity. They need to be customizable, localized, and and have procurement option localized as well based on their regional and local markets. We've seen poor user experience for franchises. The traditional tools are clunky, designed for internal procurement specialists, and you need to be experts to use them. The franchises owners often lack the training and passion to go into the complex integration interface that they need to. We have a slow onboarding and supplier management that result of all the topics, the points I've just been making. We mentioned the lack of real-time visibility and control. This is also, the corporate teams often have limited visibility into franchises purchasing behavior. We're going to come back to separate a bit who is who and what pains they're facing. Also the inability to handle decentralized procurement system, again, because we are looking at a local network of systems rather than a centralized element, something that we really need to come back to. So to do that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to possibly split that by different view to understand the pain point, from more the retailer, and then we're gonna tackle the other elements. So really, the retailer, who are they first? They are the purchasing center, the wholesalers, and the franchisers. So from an operational pain points, again, limited visibility on franchises purchases. Generally, they cannot track real time what franchisees are ordering from where and from whom. So this is bringing an issue. We have inconsistency of compliance to contract. As I said before, it's hard to enforce negotiated terms with suppliers, and that leads to loose volume discounts or rebates. We have difficulty in standardizing operation. As I said, they are local operation. We need to listen to them. So every franchise operates differently. This is something that we need to really focus on. We have a slow and reactive decision making due to this aspect. There are multiple systems, multiple interface. So lack of live procurement and inventory data prevents proactive supply chain management. And due to that, we have a high risk of brand dilution, something that franchisees buying non-approved product impact customer experience and brand perception. Very important to understand what you're selling, from who you are buying it from, and what's going to be the impact of that product across your supply chain. Then from a strategic point of view, before we move on, it is hard to scale franchises network. Each new franchises add administrative complexity. And now what I'm going to bring up is the view from a point of sales. So here we have, the element of franchises and the store. So the end, really. Operational pain points, well, look at the image. It reflects it. Cumbersome order processing as well. People are still ordering via phone, via email, even by fax, Arno. Something that we've seen recently in some of our projects. It's time consuming and error prone. We see again the lack of product visibility and pricing transparency. Franchises network, B2B, pricing is difficult, complex. We need to adopt it by local market, regionals. So this has to be very looked into. We have a slow problem resolution due to that long chain of ordering process, missing orders, wrong deliveries, invoicing error takes time to fix. So we need also people, operation teams to work behind the scene and work on that. We have inventory management challenges. As you can see in the picture here, we have a lot of product, and the employee itself needs to managing the display, where and how they need to bring the inventory back up. From a business point of view, well, the franchises, they have a lower, generally based on the amount of product, is a low margin impact. So this is without efficient procurement, franchises can't really optimize cost and protect their margin. So this is, we see a lot of frustration and lack of support. So this is something that we need they need to work on. We need to be here to help them to maintain that quality and bring standards to their operation. So that's one of the key aspects. So now, if we need to look at the bigger picture, we've learned some of the key pain points, Arno, but maybe there are bigger challenges and we are facing. So how do you address that, and how can we solve it?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny you spoke about fax, because today I'm not sure that I would be able to use fax anymore. I'm not sure to remind how it works. So, but it's very interesting because, like today, as you mentioned, companies have spent years focusing on the upstream digitalization of the supply chain, particularly through automation and mechanization of warehouses, or for example, automation of sourcing and procurement processes with the suppliers. However, as you said, companies today are facing several challenges, and one of them is really the bottleneck in the downstream supply chain, which remains, as you said, too manual in his processes, leading to stockouts in stores, which is the worst thing that can happen for any retailer, or operational errors, which also drive issue in the stores. And in order to minimize inventory levels and meet customer expectation, the downstream supply chain must be fluid and streamlined. To see the results that actually you can expect and the impact that you can expect, we will deep dive now to see what are the benefits of digitizing the replenishment process. So let's take a closer look at how optimizing the replenishment process can bring real, measurable value to your business. First, by, as you said, Aurélien, minimizing manual tasks. We not only speed up operation, but also reduce the risk of human error, something that is critical when dealing with high volumes inventory in stores. Next, we focus on leveraging real-time data and accurate forecasting. Of course, this allows us to maintain ideal stock levels and avoid one of the biggest pain points in retail and distribution that we mentioned before, stockouts, that are the nightmare of any retailer. Then there is, of course, a financial impact. Automation helps cut labor cost, of course, and you improve your productivity, and people in the stores are focusing on the right task. You have a better inventory control, means you can lower also the storage expenses, by avoiding, of course, overstocking and unused and lost inventory. And finally, a key long-term benefit, a modern replenishment process should be flexible and scalable. That means that it can grow with your business and integrate smoothly with other systems, internal systems of your company, such as ERP or POS or any other external logistic platforms. And all of this combined helps to build a smarter and resilient supply chain for your company that supports both operational efficiency, but also the end buyer customer satisfaction. Here on this slide, we are talking about how automation can directly impact your entire replenishment chain, from the purchasing center all of the way to the stores. By automating key parts of the process, we bring more control, as we said, and also greater visibility to replenishment. No more relying on manual updates, fax, as you said, or gut feeling, which is the worst. Decisions now are based on real-time data, which is very important, and based on clear rules. And it doesn't stop there because, I mean, with intelligence reordering based on actual sales and demand trends, we ensure that stock levels are always aligned with what is really happening into the stores. This means better productivity for the end customer, of course, fewer stockouts, as we mentioned, and more efficiency of the use of the inventory. In short, automation makes your replenishment smarter and faster, ready to support your business growth.
Absolutely, Arnaud. And yeah, we've seen from the top line aspect, like a raise of 16%, of additional revenue. And you said it all, with a digital replenishment system, customer reorder faster, more frequently, because the buying process is just simpler and more intuitive, and offer integrated as well to their, as you mentioned, to their ERP or procurement system. So it's helping as well to cross-sell, upsell more effectively by suggesting complementary products that are brought up directly in the ordering process. Now we have also a 12% on operating cost reduction, and you mentioned like manual, the manual labor that we used to have. Now by digitizing replenishment, it automates that. We are order tracking, stock checking, approvals that are automated, which significantly reduce the labor and the operational cost. It also streamlines inventory management, leading to fewer stockouts, very important, and overstock situation, which lower warehousing and logistic expenses. Then one of the biggest impact I see is really the cash impact, 30 days reduction. What does that bring? Digitization shorten the order to cash, and that reduce working capital by 30 days. What it brings, it improves liquidity for the company, giving the company to invest, in growth and flexibility to really stop locking cash for inventory. That's key for them as well, and to be able to tackle what's really important for them. Bring that customer experience, bring that integration, bring that stock overview for everyone. I think that's where we are aiding to.
Thanks, Aurélien. And what is best than a real example? So now let's now look at a real, as I said, example with Franprix. So Franprix, of course, a well-known grocery brand with over 1.5 billion euros in revenue. Franprix operates under a B2B2C model, working with a large network of independent stores and franchises, which brings a unique challenge, of course, in managing supply chain and store operation. To meet these challenges, Franprix recently implemented a new digital replenishment platform. And thanks to this transformation, they've been able to better anticipate deliveries to stores, ensuring the right products are available at the right time in the right store. The results, I mean, they speak for themselves. They have reduced replenishment errors by 20%, significantly improving operational accuracy and helping the supply chain. They also achieved a 10% increase in stock optimization in stores, meaning fewer stockouts, less overstock, and a better shopping experience for end customers. But what is also important here is, and Aurélien, based on your experience, could be also interesting to understand what are the key technical factors to succeed in that kind of project.
No, absolutely. And you mentioned quite some element before, you spoke about scalability, be able to grow as your business grow. And I think to reach out that, we need to look at something that is composable, modular architecture. As we explained before, franchises is really something that is down to local, regional. The market is different, is not something that is always centralized. So this is important that to be flexible and be able to reuse the building blocks for rapid adaptation. That's one of the key elements. Scalable cloud native infrastructure, that's what we are after. Seamless scaling as franchises network needs to expand. We speak about also, this has to be API first design. I mean, it's the big buzzword as well with AI today, but we need to be secure and have fast integration. You showcased here with mobile apps and partner systems, seamless, that comes by the book, but seamless legacy integration. We need to be able to connect, as you highlighted, to ERP, WMS system, CRM system without major disruption. Security and compliance by design as well. Mobile optimized user experience on Powerfield, users with intuitive mobile first interfaces, key aspect. Then obviously we have all the element of real-time event-driven capabilities that is generally built up with the modular architecture as well, to make sure we have, live stock updates, instant order tracking, and quick order resolution. That's important, and it has to be built for B2B realities. So, we need to support multi-price list, approval workflows, split shipment. Is not just replicating the user experience of B2C, but it's much broader. B2B brings complex pricing, complex products, bundles, and we need to really look into that. And also provide in some extent offline capabilities. Still, it is up to date. When you visit some elements, sometimes the network is not following up. So you need to make sure of that, and have obviously the cloud deployment. So Arnaud, just to summarize it, to succeed, the platform must be composable, API first, scalable, securely integrated with legacy system, and built for the operation realities of franchise B2B businesses.
Thanks, Aurélien, and I'm 100% agree with you. Those elements are, the technology is also key in that kind of project, and the modern technology, open, customizable, flexible, composable is the key to success in that kind of project. Another great example is Jeff de Bruges, a well-known brand and a retailer in the chocolate business and industry. Like Franprix, Jeff de Bruges operates under B2B2C distribution model, working with a network of franchises. The chocolate business may be very simple, but it is actually highly complex. Chocolate is the final product, but it must be carefully packaged, and stores need to accurately calculate the quantity of packaging required around the chocolate. So chocolate is also a fragile product, sensitive to handling and storage condition, and overstocking can be a very costly for the company, both in terms of weight and loss of quality. So here, by implementing a new digital replenishment solution, Jeff de Bruges has achieved major improvements. The first one is significant time saving on order placement. Now the stores, of course, it's much more easier to, I would say, manage all the replenishment package between the chocolate and the packaging, allowing teams now, in store, to focus more on customer service and store management. They also reduced by 30% the number of errors, leading to a better order accuracy and fewer operational mistakes. And the last one, also, as I mentioned before, very important in the chocolate business is the packaging. and they optimize by 15% the packaging replenishment around the chocolate, that of course reduce the cost and support more sustainable practice. I mean, Jeff de Bruges clearly shows that even with highly sensitive and demanding sectors like chocolate distribution, digitalization can really drive operational excellence and really improve the productivity of your network. Now, I mean, Aurélien, also what could be very interesting, because we spoke about why it is interesting for companies and organizations to digitize the replenishment process, what benefit they can get, and concrete and measurable benefit they can get from this digitalization. Now, I mean, based on your experience and strong experience, because like expertise, because you did a lot of projects like that, what are the challenges that company, I mean, is facing to succeed in the implementation?
No, thanks, Arnaud. And I think to tackle that, I mean, there is not an answer for every question, but actually there is a way to get there. And I think we need to tackle two key aspects. In my eyes, we have the platform key features, and then we look at the project key elements that needs to sustain together. We mentioned that and we've seen that it's really, we need to have a platform that is able to scale and to take large order volume, because it has to grow with the business. So it's not something that we need to have just as a POC at the beginning and then we will see. No, it has really to be ready from the start to be able to expand. We've seen a lot in the B2B business in comparison to the B2C, where actually the orders, when it's placed, is not the end. The order can be modified. There is element also from the delivery, from the picking area, where things can still change, and we need to let this happen. So we need obviously to have a framework to not make every change possible, but we need to allow customization and be flexible enough to do that. And that brings as well the element of packaging-based purchase management, where we need to enforce a bit how many items goes into a package, and that drives also something else, that we need to have a platform that goes along what environmental policies are put in place in local areas, regional or even national areas. We are all looking at sustainability, and we need to have delivery-based rule capabilities in the platform we looked at. We need to make sure when somebody is ordering products, that the products are placed in relevant boxes, but also we need to fill up, for instance, the truck, the lorry, accordingly. We don't want to run a lorry. We've seen companies that are really taking lots of care in making sure their lorry are full before sending the goods. Ordering, we see a lot the rise of the chatbots that are coming into play. And this is also important on the B2B layer. We need to keep that going. We're going to tackle more onto that a bit later, but this is very important, that the buyer needs to be followed up. He needs to be accompanied with somebody, either the chatbot or later down the line, maybe some customer service agent or even his sales representative. That's very important. And of course, bringing the smart recommendation aspect, not to lock in specific product, but also to bring recommendation, or if an inventory product is out of stock, bring something that is a replacement. Very important. That was from the platform. Let's look now at the project key elements. If you just can go back a slide back, just to finalize on this. Here companies, they need a solution integrator to help them, even if it's not to do the technical aspect, but really to support them on the processes, their experience on having done this for other companies, because not every company is the same, and a chance is not the same. Every project is different, but we bring alongside with us when we integrate or implement solution for our clients, things that we've seen before, the things that we should avoid, and that's very important. We generally, what we've seen paying very well is to leverage field user group during project design phase, to make sure that what we are designing are really designed for them and for what they need to achieve operationally as well as strategically. We see also something very important. We spoke about POC, I just highlighted. They really need to be taking care in to address real condition, followed by dedicated rollout at pace, because we want to scale fast to market. This is very important. And as I said before, we need to support the user to have a minimum conscientious that an operational team will need to be there to support the franchises and as well the central businesses behind it to run their process and run their integration project. So that's key. So I know I've seen as well in the current project, more on the platform side, but as well it's helping a lot on the actual project side, that AI has been part of some of the companies to help us. We spoke before about data and consistency, but I can see now B2B's company are leveraging more and more AI to help on product description, help on trying to regroup products together to propose more recommended, more real sophisticated product that are in need. So, I know we all leverage kind of the ideology of what we had based on what something was written in 2020, but now we are in 2025. So if I have to look at my crystal ball, for you, how will the replenishment strategy look like in 2030? Could you give me some insight about it?
Yeah, I mean, you're right, Aurélien. I mean, AI is definitely a game changer in any kind of digital project, and replenishment is, of course, one of them. As you said, we are in 2025, so let's try to imagine what it could be in 2030, so only in 5 years, and concretely what it looks like. So it all starts, of course, with the home page. The home page, of course, I mean, today it's personalized, but it will be much more personalized for each buyer based on their profile, interest, preferences, and of course, previous purchases. AI will be able to highlight, of course, products that are the most likely to interest them, helping stores to boost sales volume and also increase the end customer and the end buyer satisfaction. As we mentioned earlier, also, digital commerce in the future will become much more interactive. We can already see this shift today with how search behavior is evolving between Google and ChatGPT. By 2030, B2B buyers will primarily use natural language to search. Website will be able to understand the buyer's intent and provide relevant, personalized answers in real time. AI will also be able to capture the buyer emotions and adapt its response based on the customer's moods, context, creating a much more empathetic and engaging experience for the buyers. And finally, AI will enable fully personalized customer support, 24 hours, 7 days, offering tailored assistance to the stores at any time, and of course, dramatically improved the overall store support and operations. What we saw at Just, and what we think at Just, is that, as we mentioned earlier, digital commerce will become much more interactive, and we already see it happening today with the shift of, I mean, as I said before, the traditional search AI-driven platform like ChatGPT, and as I said also, like the search will primarily use the natural language. So we notified 2 features at Just that are the first key features that any companies should implement. Is the first one, the AI search, and the second one, the smart ordering. This major innovation of smart ordering will simplify the ordering process for the buyers, enabling buyers to place complex and repeatable orders with just a few clicks. No more time to search, to add product to basket, to control the order. AI would be able to automatically replace the order on behalf of the buyer. And then the buyer just needs to control if everything is fine, but that's it. And all of this reordering process, of course, will be based on order history, preferences, and real-time needs. So that's why maybe connecting the POS to that kind of platform is in 2030 mandatory. And also understanding the local preference. It's not only maybe, I don't know, in the north of France and south of France, you don't have the same behavior, you don't have the same assortment. So all of that will be in real time analyzed by the AI. And of course, together, this innovation will drive significant business results, as we mentioned before. 20% increase maybe of order volumes, 40% reduction in order processing. So you have more time to serve your clients in store, and you boost the entire productivity of the company. And all of that is available thanks to the AI, and only by the AI, because it's the power of the calculation of the AI. So definitely all of that, the AI will be a major game changer for any retailer in a very near future.
Thanks, Arnaud. I think you are right. And I think to achieve all this by 2030 as well, and in the different projects that we've seen, I think there are key roles to succeed in the project to make that happen. So if we can move possibly to the next slide, we'll get into that. So you have obviously the B2B platform, and we take your example, you are just. So here you just highlighted key elements. We need a robust foundation, which allows B2B operation to be built. So that is clear. Also, we mentioned a cloud system, which is continuously developing the platform. So just, for instance, improving the existence of adding new features, release-based, to really follow as well the trend of what B2B is about, what franchises business is about, and implementing that in the standard processes of the platform. Then it's just to showcase that this is a relationship. It needs to be, we cannot do it on our own. The companies needs to be supported, and the company, they will have the expertise. They understand, they have their subject matter, they understand their landscape. They have this landscape to integrate with their dependency. They understand their markets. They understand the scope. They have the scope of what needs to be done. And for doing that, they need somebody that help us to shape what is a fast to market, build that POC that really will take real conditions. And for that, we need an integration expert. So we place ourselves as integration expert, E2Y, where we are helping the company really to develop the solution and architect it in a way that is composable, modulable, API first oriented. We will support with the support of that company, the subject matter, really take on the scope element and challenging them to try to bring what the platform gives in standard, because it's great to be composable, adaptable, but if the process exists in standard, we really need to leverage that. And obviously helping on the delivery of the project, bringing all the risk and project management, as well as bringing automation. We've seen that test automation is something that still needs to live in nowadays, to make sure that we can deliver fast, meaning to say when we expand the market, we need regression elements to come into play to automate that, to be able to deliver faster. Those are my key roles, I would say, Arnaud, to deliver such successful projects.
Thank you very much, Aurélien, for your insights and for sharing your expertise and your experience. Thank you, everyone, also for listening. And now we will move to the questions, if there is any questions. I'm just checking if there is questions. Do we have questions? I don't see any question for the moment. Questions. I can see people that are typing, sorry. So let's see what is the first question here. So first question is, what are the best practices in change management and that can be put in place to successfully deploy and roll out a project like that. Maybe Aurélien, explaining how do you see things, because we spoke about, of course, the solution, the technical solution, the pillars that the solution needs, the technology. I mean, what are the benefits at the end of that? The key challenges. But yes, maybe we can deep dive in change management, because when you operate thousands of stores like Franprix, for example, or even Jeff de Bruges that we mentioned just before, how do you ensure that actually the stores get engaged in that transformation project?
No, absolutely. And this is very important. I mean, this is not something that should be led by technology. It's something that the business need to adhere to the top end, from the top to the bottom. It's an operational change that will bring, changes in the organization. So we follow best practices here, meaning to say that we have dedicated team that address to understand who are the key players in the process who will be affected. They run a thought in terms of scope, what it would mean from a business point of view, from their end, of having to change, to digitalize some element, as well as driving the other side of what technology will be implemented to achieve that, which is the means. But this is something that is put in place together. And as I said before, the element that we tend to pull together is really building the real use case. So we really work with the organization and the actors of that on the different role level, to ask them what is the proof of concept should tackle, and what is the real use case that we want to achieve here, and have also real measurement from a business point of view, strategic aspect, as well as from the actual operational element. On understanding today our pain points is we have 6 hours to look at a problem from an order. What will be that KPI tomorrow by implementing that? And we measure that on a small scale, and then we grow it and have relevant KPIs. So this is just the start. I mean, we could speak a full day possibly on the change management, but these are some elements here.
Yeah, but you're totally right. And this is what we saw also with Franprix and Jeff de Bruges and other clients that we are supporting that kind of project, is that first you need to define clear KPIs of improvement. Then you do a pilot with, as you say, a small scope. Then you make some modification after this pilot to deploy at scale after. And of course, using all the best practice change management tools like training, online training, and also UX UI also is very important. We don't mention that before. You mentioned it during your presentation, that today, for a store manager, it should not be hard to make the replenishment. It should be like super easy in a few clicks, and all of that. And we can see that the spread and the usage of the platform of Franprix and Jeff de Bruges is huge, because it's like so simple. You are like, sorry to say that, like on Amazon, like just like placing orders on Amazon, like it's super easy for anyone. And that's very important. It's also a very important key success factor, I think, in that kind of project. Thank you, Aurélien. Maybe we have a second question. Let me see if there is any other question. Yes. So, how much time? Yeah, good question. How much time it takes to implement a digitized replenishment process platform? So that's a very interesting question also. Aurélien, you want to start?
But yeah, it's a very, very good question. And in fact, it differs. I would say there is lots of factors to be taken into consideration. The maturity of the business is one of the key elements here, and also the scale where you want, you've got something that you need to address. Is it something that we need first to digitalize, something that is local, then moving to something that is national, and bring the business together? So, we've got generally this mid-scale process digitization, which are the most common one, where we need to do all this integration as well in the background. So I think the most important part, and possibly Arnaud, you will complement my answer, is really first defining the scope. What are we speaking before giving any time? I mean, we have done implementation in weeks, in few months, and some may take up to 2 years, depending on really the scope of what we do. Generally, we have a good middle, which is between 5 to 8 months, which is generally what we see nowadays in our businesses. But again, this is really depending on the scope, this proof of concept, what we take as first, and then how we grow it. What is your view, Arnaud, on that?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I mean, for me, a project like that, of course, depending the size of the network that you have to digitize, this is, as you said, very important. But it's between yes, 6 months and 1 year, because of course you don't want to have a cut. I would say in your replenishment process. And of course, I mean, this is not only workload. That's very important. There is a difference between the workload and the duration. And most of the time, between November and December, we freeze any kind of deployment for any retailer, because I mean, Christmas is so important that you don't, I would say, try and launch a new replenishment platform during this period. So that's I would say my feedback on my side. I think that we are now a little bit out of time, but thank you very much for, I mean, Aurélien first. Thank you very much for sharing all your insights. Thank you very much, everyone, for attending this webinar. We will have other webinars on this topic, so feel free to subscribe next time. And I wish you a nice day.
Thank you, Arnaud. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Have a lovely day.
Bye-bye.